the most underrated fight of the night will be Giga Chikadze versus Arnold Allen. Giga Chikadze will be flying in his home country, in Arnold's home country in the UK, and it's gonna be an epic battle, I believe. So where the king of the division is a Georgian, Ilia Topuria, we have another Georgian, a beast, Giga Chikadze, who is a top 10 fighter as well, who has his own title aspirations as well. He was a bit derailed by a fight against Calvin Kattar, but now he won another fight, and he has a chance to get right back into the title picture with this win against Arnold Allen, because only the top guys have beaten Arnold Allen, and both of those guys are now in line. The guys who have beaten Arnold are in line to fight for the title against Ilia Topuria. One of them, as we are hearing, is already set, who is Max Holloway, and he's being pushed to the front to fight Ilia. And then there is another guy, Movsar Evloev, who had a very close fight against Arnold, and he's also probably in line to fight with Ilia sometimes down the line, maybe one more fight, and he will probably be there. So Giga Chikadze needs to win this fight. If he wins this fight convincingly, he's right back into the title picture. Obviously for him it's probably a bit complicated, because the Georgian is the champ, who he has a pretty decent relationship with. But again, things like this happen, so they have to see how everything develops, and if all of them keep winning, then some decisions will have to be made. I have no idea how they will approach it, but that's something to think about. So let's look at the fight between Allen and Chikadze. So obviously they have one common opponent lately, who is Calvin Kattar, and Giga lost to Calvin, and Arnold won against him. But Giga was doing pretty decently in the beginning. He showed a lot of horsepower in the striking department, and then some things went wrong, which I'll get into. Arnold Allen, on the other hand, mostly had initially, at least, and from the Calvin's initiation, they had a striking battle. So Calvin was more confident in the striking department with Allen, and he stood with him, so it was more of a different fight. And also it was a fight after Emmett fight, Josh Emmett versus Calvin Kattar, which was a war. So basically after a war and a split decision loss to Emmett, Calvin Kattar goes in there to fight against Arnold. So it's a bit of a different scenario, so you cannot judge it completely as a good indicator and as good mark, but that's also something to look at. Also something to look at is, which I already mentioned, is after Giga got off very heavy shots on Calvin Kattar, Calvin Kattar right away turned into a wrestler. He started wrestling with Giga because he felt that that's not the power you want to deal with for several rounds continuously. So he disrupted Giga's rhythm and disrupted Giga's game with wrestling. Especially Giga slipped, he fell, so it kind of allowed Calvin Kattar to capitalize and getting the body lock on Giga, and then getting fight to the ground and taking it back. So probably if you could point to the biggest weakness of Giga, would be the grappling department. He's a very high level striker. He has a lot of accolades in the striking world, in the kickboxing world, previously in the karate world as well. So it makes some sense, obviously. But again, I personally have trained with Giga in grappling, and let me tell you, several years ago, he is not a low-level grappler. He has very good understanding of grappling, and this was many years ago, and he has spent a lot of years, and since then he has also spent a lot of years working on grappling competing in a lot of grappling tournaments, working hard with the top guys in King's MMA. His coach Ricardo Testai, his training partners like Benil Dariush, who is an excellent grappler, now an MMA grappler, and previously also a BJJ competitor as well. Also Fabricio Verdum, who is a big guy, but having him in the camp is probably also quite beneficial. And there's a lot of people going through King's MMA who have helped him develop his grappling. I believe now he's a purple belt, if I'm not mistaken, and I would say for the MMA game he's probably quite a decent purple belt. The only issue that the grappling usually presents, and it's not only for Giga, it's for a lot of strikers, and just the overall problematic thing is when you are not used to grappling for many years, which Giga is now probably amassing those numbers over time. In general, when you are not used to grappling a lot and it's a relatively newer skill rather than your perhaps other discipline, in the fight it can tire you out. So grappling sometimes serves as a mechanism to tire the guy out, even if you cannot finish or submit the guy, and then even their A game diminishes to a certain extent. So I think this is what Colin Cater found the need for right away in the first round, because he would probably get knocked out if he kept just purely standing with Giga for a couple of rounds. And he employed his game plan pretty well and managed to tire Giga out a bit. So I believe it's something that would probably be addressed as well in the strength and conditioning rooms by Giga, and also in the grappling rooms. He was probably spending a lot of times in the bad positions and fighting out of those bad positions after the fight, which I believe that will help him out in this fight if there will be a need. Okay, so let's see. I think striking wise, Giga will have an advantage, most likely. Anything can happen with the small gloves, obviously, but I give Giga an advantage in power, probably, and also experience in striking. I think he'll have more confidence in his striking as well. Maybe Arnold Allen will go also confident in the fight. In his striking, I think it will play into Giga's favor as well, where there will be more time in the standing department, and Giga will have more time to work with his A game rather than the other areas. But let's see if Allen will take anything from some of his previous fights. Maybe we'll decide to wrestle Giga, but I believe that we even saw in the embeddeds as well that they understand this risk, they understand this possibility. So I believe that Giga's camp prepared him extensively in this area as well. So again, it's a very close fight, fight with high implications. Allen needs to win this fight as well. If he loses this fight, then it would be, what is it, like third loss in a row or second? Yeah, it would be a third loss in a row, I think, and it would put him back of the line. Not completely, obviously, but I think it would move him away quite a bit from the title picture. And just a couple of years ago, he was one of the highly touted prospects, so he needs to win this fight definitely. So I think he'll be very motivated in his own home country as well. I think Giga also needs to win this fight. Giga is a veteran of the game. He has a lot of fights between MMA and kickboxing, so this is one of those moments where he probably needs to get back into the title picture, and with this win he will be able to do just that. So again, like, we have very highly motivated fighters, so, and skill wise they are also very evenly matched. on paper, Giga is the underdog betting wise. I believe motivated Giga can do a lot of damage to a lot of fighters, and he can win a lot of fights. So let's see. I think stylistically also this fight is not a bad fight for Giga. So again, I cannot go against Georgian in this case. I have to go with Giga. I know him personally. I know his jiu-jitsu coach personally as well. Great people. So I have to go with Giga. I'm rooting for Giga as well. Good luck in the fight, and let's get back into that title contention.